You've got to have a vision before you start. Don't chase shiny objects. You got to fail fast. I've failed a business 3 times, and this is what I've learned. Hey, I'm Donnie Boivin, the CEO of Success Champions Networking, and my biggest purpose in life is to help as many people as I possibly can get to freedom. And I do that by sharing all the things that I've screwed up along the way, all my failures, all my mess ups, so you can have a roadmap of success for your business. I'm going to walk you through what I learned in my 3 original companies that all failed, and what I've applied from those learnings to create the 3 companies I have now. The first thing that I learned, and I learned the hard way, was, to charge what you're worth. And that may sound silly to some, but I know when I first left corporate America and I got into building a company, I had no idea how to price anything out, or the pricing models or strategies that you should look at when you try and build business. So I was coming up with numbers that I just kind of pulled out of thin air. And I quickly realized that the amount of money that I was charging people was nowhere near going to cover the time, energy, and effort for me to produce and do and serve my clients to the level they need to be served. And at some point, I found myself in client overwhelm because my prices were so low that I had more clients that I could actually service effectively. And so when you look at your pricing strategy, or at least when I looked at my pricing strategy, I just started upping the prices in these newer companies. I started upping the prices until people started belly aching. I know that may sound kind of funny, but there's tons of pricing models out there and pricing strategies, but I've just found for me that you put the price up until somebody balks at it, and then you're right at. So if you're in a place where you're overwhelmed and overloaded by clients, then your pricing is too low. So I know matter of factly that if you start raising your pricing, you're going to eventually hit a number that people are like, yeah, not paying that. And that's when you finally are right before that is where your pricing should be most times. The second thing I had to learn was you as an individual are not scalable. Man, I didn't want to do the whole team. I didn't want to have employees. I didn't want to go down the road. I thought this would be like a solopreneur mission for me. And I was trying to do all the things myself, man. So I was learning how to do videos, learning how to do podcasts, learning graphic design. I've always been into drawing and art and that kind of stuff, but I'd not done a ton of computers. So I was learning all that, trying to learn all the social media stuff, trying to learn the business accounting. I was trying to learn all the things so I could do them. And in learning to do all the things, it really cost me a lot of time and energy, because learning how to do the things somewhat became more fun than actually going out and doing things like selling and building a company. So understand that if you're the only person that can do it, you're creating a job and not a business, right? A business by traits is going to have multiple people in it. You can be a solopreneur and build a great business and lifestyle outside of that. If that's the direction you want to go, cool, do that. But for most of us, we need people that are good at things that we're not good at. So, and I'll tell you that you're going to need people that are great and experts and 10 times better than you in almost everything you do in your company, if you ultimately want it to scale. The third thing I had to do, what I had to, and I really learned this one the hard way, so it's kind of twofold, but it's build a team and outsource quickly. So I, once again, didn't really want people to work for me. I wanted to do it all myself, but it just got to the point where, since I wasn't scalable, I had to find means of people to come on. And, I tried things from hiring people that were just like me. I tried, hiring people that had unique skill sets that I didn't have. And here's what I can tell you. Your first outsource that you'll ever do is you need to outsource by the task, not the generalities of it. So like most people, they're going to outsource marketing. And when you completely outsource marketing without understanding your marketing first, you're going to lose. So, what I had to quit doing was quit hiring social media generalists and strategists. There's all these social media strategy people out here like, we'll tell you how to freaking, get 10,000 views on your next whatever. And here's the thing. You are going to need somebody dedicated to whatever you're doing, to that just geeks out on the thing. So don't hire a social media generalist. Hire somebody that specifically focuses on the social media you want to get after. You want to get great on Instagram, go hire an Instagram badass. You want to get great at LinkedIn, go hire a LinkedIn person. And get somebody who completely geeks out on the platform, doesn't personally want to be the face out there, and let them geek out on your stuff, and it's an absolute game changer. The outside of the task oriented hiring, you're going to need to hire your arch nemesis, is what we always jokingly throw out there. You don't want your doppelganger. You don't want the person who looks, acts, and feels and talks and has the same energy as you. You'll butt heads. You need to find your arch nemesis. This is the person that's good at all the things you're not. I tell everybody, don't do this with your sales. Sales need to be on you as you're building your business. You need to just get out of your head that you want to outsource sales. Get fucking good at sales, because it's the sales that builds the business. You can do all the marketing in the world, all the social media you want in the world, but if you can't convert any outreach, comment, DM, whatever, then you're going to lose, right? You got to sell. So my first big hire was bringing in Kevin Snow, who is the COO of this craziness, and he was my opposite. So he was able to come in and put the operational twist on things and help us build everything out. So you've got to outsource quickly, build that team so you can ramp faster. The next one, number 4, is, don't chase shiny objects. This is what really probably hurt me the most. Those first 3 companies was I was constantly looking for that next cool thing. So I was really quick to go down crazy ass rabbit holes to try something new. And I think part of it was I didn't know what the hell I wanted to be when I grew up. And I think I was trying to figure all that out. There ain't nothing wrong with figuring that all out, man. But the more of those shiny objects you chase, the bigger your business is going to struggle. And I chase quite a few. It's like these lightning moments of, oh my God, this is what we should be doing. And then next thing you know, we were starting that company, and it caused a lot of chaos, But in that vein, the next one is pivot fast. And here's what I mean. It's like when the pandemic happened back in 20, and the whole world kind of went to chaos. The first thing we did is pivoted our main focus of business to be able to help as many small businesses can transition over to online. And we created the networking groups to fix what everybody hated about networking, but we also created the networking groups to have a means for people to do business still online. And it worked. So, and I think often, I'll speak for myself, it's the opposite of chasing shiny objects. I was the worst at holding on to things that weren't working for way too long. I can think of one of them in particular, the magazine company. We did that one for well over a year, and 6 months in, I knew it wasn't working, but I couldn't convince myself to shut it down and turn it off, because there was some fun in the creation of it. So you've got to pivot fast. Either pivot when the marketplace moves, or you've got to pivot if it's not working, go a different route, try something new, and get after it. Which goes to number 6, which is you got to fail fast. And however fast you think fast is, it's not fast enough, and you've got to fail quite a bit. I look at it this way: life is an experiment, and so if everything's an experiment, then you don't really fail at anything. You just learn ways for it to not make it work, right? It's the Heinz 57 sauce. Heinz 57 is named Heinz 57 because it took them 56 tries, failed attempts before they got to the 57th flavor of the sauce, and that's what became Heinz 57. And so, with that thought process, you've got to learn everything in your business and how it functions. Like you got to learn to sell, you got to learn to market, you got to learn the operations, you got to learn the finances, and all these things you have to do. And to do those, you've got to fail extremely fast so you learn how to do them right, because it's the absolute best information gathering system in the world is failure, because you learn how to not do something so you can learn how to actually do it. And it's really what forces you to evolve. And I did not want to fail a whole lot until I understood that. And you hear people say all the time, fail to learn, fail, well, whatever, fail forward, all that shit. And I didn't like the idea of it because it felt like failure. So you got to flip that script from it feels like failure to I'm learning and I'm experimenting, I'm trying so I can get great at this. And then it gets a lot easier to move everything forward because you're not failing, you're learning how to do it right. The next one, man, is you've got to make decisions, and you got to make decisions fast. I truly believe that, procrastination and perfection are just a fear of failure. So when you're delaying, thoughts and questions and things that you should be doing in your business, I can tell you that it's only delaying the failure. You've got to make quick decisions in your companies, because if you're overthinking, if you think about it too long, you'll overthink it. And if you overthink it, then you're going to likely make the wrong decision because they put too much calculations in it and too much thought process into it. So, you got to make risky moves for sure, make them calculated risk, but you've got to make a lot of decisions running a business, and you need to be able to make them quickly. So make sure you have, your kind of boundaries of, what's going to work in your company and how you're measuring everything. But it's literally imperative that when something pops up, that a decision needs to be made, you need to be able to make it, because the faster you can make that decision, the more thorough your business will run, and you'll learn from that decision whether it was the right one or not. And there's a lot of power in understanding how to make the right decisions. Number 8 is create a community. Luckily, and here's why: a community follows you wherever you go, right? Unless you do something asinine, completely dumb, the community will follow you. And even with those 3 failed businesses, the community stayed with me along for the ride, which has been the cool thing to see in this day and age. If you're not out there building the community, you're missing out on one hell of an opportunity. The name of business right now is community. It's literally bringing a bunch of people together. And so this wasn't really a failure for me because I built a community all along. Well, I started building a community about 3 months into building my companies. But that community has come along for the ride, even past the failures and to where we are now as a global company. And it's been very, very fun to watch them grow, watch them come along for the ride. We did the Badass Business Summit. Now we're going on year 4 of that. And to meet a lot of these people in person, I only knew online, So when you have community, man, and you're bringing a bunch of people together that have a common vision, common goal, common task, something they're trying to accomplish, dude, there's nothing more powerful in the world. If you put a collection of people all pointing in one direction, they're going to move the world. And that's what I love. So, you can be out there creating a community, and you create a community in this day and age through social media. This is something I feel like I understood as even getting into business, but if you're not building your personal brand in the marketplace, you're going to lose. So your community shows up when you show up. You start putting out content, start putting out information, and start putting out. For me, the best tool to build a community has been to teach everything I know, and that's been really powerful. And then the last one, man, is the biggest one for me, is you've got to have a vision before you start. I think one of the things that completely screwed me up is most of those companies that failed, I didn't know what I really wanted to do with them. I didn't know how they were going to show up or what we were going to do with them. I just knew that it was something I wanted to do. So they really were kind of shiny objects. Now I will say, the podcast production company, was probably the most successful venture out of the three because it actually generated revenue and allowed us to do a lot of things. I just hated doing it. So that's the portion of that you got to wrap your head around is you got to get passionate about what your business is. And the only way you're going to get passionate about it is you got to have a vision of what you're actually creating and what you're building out there, because that vision is what's going to help push you through when all else fails. And I know for me that those three companies that failed, they never had a vision attached to them. They were literally almost an answer to a problem I had, which was revenue. And one of them didn't even, like, the magazine never made money. That actually cost us to produce and never made money. So I will tell you as a bonus, because I only had 9 written down, but I feel like I'd be wrong if I didn't put this last one in there, is with that vision, man, you got to have 2 other parts behind it to make that thing rock. So you got to have a vision that lights you to fuck up, right? That vision will push you and drive you, and that vision should be, that kind of thing that motivates you, to do it. So it's your vision is how you impact, how are you changing the world, how are you, delivering a lot of value. That's the vision. Okay. The behind that vision, you got to have a why do you want to do that vision? So my biggest vision is we will literally get as many businesses to business freedom as we possibly can, and I'll do that through teaching them how to build a business. And our current vehicles that we are operating out of is we have Success Champions Networking, which is our networking groups. We have the Champions Table Masterminds, where we teach business settings, and then we have the Badass Business Summit. Right now, those are our current 3 vehicles that are pushing us towards getting as many people to business freedom as possible. But I know that to make that happen, I'm going to have to build a company that rivals the size of Tony Robbins, because Tony's got 101 companies doing something like $7 billion. So to be able to build that kind of company, I don't want to be Tony, but to be able to build that kind of company, there's a lot of infrastructure and a lot more things to be put in place. And so if I'm going to fulfill that vision, then I got to freaking go massive big and do the things that will allow me to really get out there in the marketplace. So this is a huge personal brand lift for me. That's why we're hanging out here on YouTube and we're making this a thing and going for it. It's part of the overall plan to get to that vision. Why I want to get as many people to freedom is because nobody was teaching me, right? When I was building a business, man, and it got dark. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I almost lost everything I owned during that time. I just wish somebody would have reached out and said, dude, you got this. Keep going. It's going to work, and keep plowing forward, because, I made myself an island and nobody was there to pick up the pieces. So it was all on me. And I just want to help as many people through that time. And if you can build a business, man, you can really find some sort of freedom in your world, however you want to define it. And I think, a lot of people don't understand that freedom comes from getting passionate about building things and passionate about the growth of things. So we'll save that for another episode. But and then behind that why, man, you've got to have a reason. And for me, man, I promise you, my biggest thing that drives me is I will make my wife Elizabeth a very wealthy fucking woman, because she deserves it, man. She's been my ride and die, dude. She's literally been through everything with me, and a everyday normal person, she would have thrown a towel in on me several times over our years together. And I promise you, I will make her a very, very rich woman. And that's my driving force. So any day I get to I don't feel like it, or I don't want to, or anything like that, man, all I got to do start thinking about her and the things she's not able to do, or like having to drive to work or anything like that, dude, and I'm up, I'm gone. That's it. What allows me to get up at 3:50 in the morning every morning and go out and do my walk is I'm powered by her. I hope this helped you out, guys, to get you moving in the right direction. If you got any value out of this, please do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell below. Leave me a comment on what your favorite takeaway out of this is and what your lessons learned out of this is. And if it really makes sense and you think it'll help somebody else out, share this out to somebody else so that they can get value out of this whole thing. So as always, guys, love you, mean it. See you, bye.